What is up, citizens of Gotham? My name is Graham Elder. You're watching the Bitcoin Vigilante. How are you? How's everybody doing? Happy New Year. Boom. Support the show with some BTC right there. There's other ways to use the fiat right there. What's up? Graham in Perth. Oh, man, Scarborough Beach, dude. I got to get back there. I've been in Asia for a while. I was just actually talking to some comics that are going to be down doing the Perth Fringe and the Adelaide Fringe and all that. I'm not coming from those festivals, but I got to set up a tour. I need to be back in Australia. I haven't been there since before the pandemic when you saw Ron and I there in 2019. So, but we will absolutely be back. That I can guarantee you. I miss Australia. Got a lot of friends there. The shows we did down there were always great. So I'll be back there soon. I know I keep saying that, but I'm going to be there. I've got shows in Japan coming up, the end of the month and the first weekend in February. I'm doing Tokyo and Osaka. I was going to put those on my website, but there was like my website was some tech thing, of course, tech issue. But yeah, good to see you, Scarborough Beach. Yeah, Perth was so cool. And I just want to explore more of Western Australia for sure. Just because I've heard so many great just Aussie surfers telling me they just spent weeks in Western Australia just driving up the coast, finding little surf breaks. Oof, sounds awesome. I'm going to do that. That sounds great. But good to see you. We're streaming also over on the Rockfin. Say hello over there on the Rock. And here at a little after 6 on the West Coast, a little after 9 p.m. on the East Coast. So like I said, I'm not going to be doing as much politics, but I'm going to be talking more Bitcoin stuff. But there's definitely stuff in the Bitcoin space that relates to everything we are doing. So we might as well just get right into it. I'll cue this first segment up. I just came across this today while on the Tweet Town, while on the Twitter. Internet is moving slow today. There we go. Bookmarks. Bam. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, guys. Very much appreciate it. Also, go to grahamelwood.com. We've got the GoFundMe that is for the talk show that we're going to do here in Bangkok, which is going to be it's going to be awesome. It's very much coming together. We're partnering with a really good production company. Other investors are involved, so it's going to be I'm excited about it. It's all coming together. So let me get this first segment queued up here. Yes. Google Chrome is accessing my screen. Absolutely. All right. Hold on. Hold on. We'll get this all figure it out here. I'm drinking a little green tea. That's good green tea. That is good green tea. How is everything in Perth? No, we want this, we want that. Bam. It's having this weird tech thing again with StreamYard. Oh boy. Well, in the meantime, we know one person isn't here from Perth. Let us know where you are from, where you're at in the world, whether you're on Rockfin or YouTube. Tell us where in the world you are. Everything moves slow like this. It just slows everything down. I'm talking about the central banks in this segment, so maybe they're just like, you know what, Graham, we're going to slow that process down. We're going to slow that process down. Yeah, this is really wildly perplexing that this is happening. I'll just shut some other things down. Oh. Any comments? Put them in the chat. We're just trying to get this thing queued up on it. We're having a tech issue. Oh, God, StreamYard is being so problematic. Scott Ritter got debanked recently. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And it's so funny to me when like I see like Bitcoin conservatives supporting Trump. Yes, Trump has passed the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill. That is good for Bitcoin. It has helped the price. No two ways about it. But he's still part of the fascist state. I mean, he's still part of the deep, like he's not. I don't understand how you can be like, I'm into Bitcoin because I don't trust the government, but I trust Trump. Like I don't like, if you don't trust the government, I don't trust Biden. I didn't vote for Harris or Trump or Biden or Hillary. I don't trust these people at all. And I don't trust Trump at all. And I don't have to just blindly say, like, I also don't have to do the thing where I hate Trump. I don't like Trump, but I hate everything he does is wrong. I'm not going to say that. 99.9% of his stuff might be wrong. But the one thing that is, which is the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, that was right. And again, I give credit more to Cynthia Loomis than I do to him. But when people are like supporting ICE, like this ICE agent that killed a like soccer mom, it's preposterous. And you think they won't do that to you? Especially if you're a big Bitcoiner. What if they decide to just no, we're gonna go round up all the Bitcoin. We're gonna go to every Bitcoiner's house and get it one way or another. Then ICE comes to your house and but I'm a white guy. I'm a Christian conservative. I voted for Trump. I have a MAGA hat on. Shut up. They don't care. They don't care. And if you think they won't do that, you're delusional and you've never read a history book. Like, have you never read a history book? All right, maybe this. I don't know why sometimes it just decides to not share the screen. It just doesn't. I don't know if it's like a Google thing. They're forcing me to use Chrome, kind of you know what I mean? One of these beefs, these tech beefs that we all get thrown into. All right, there it is. All right, here we go. Okay, I'll be back in less than 10 seconds with our first hot, fresh. The banks are trying to prevent trillions of dollars coming out of the central banking system and going into stable coins and Bitcoin-backed loans and crypto loans. Yeah, that's why they're little provisions in the Genius Act, and they're trying to prevent this from happening. It's a very quiet thing that's happening while everybody's talking about Venezuela and now Iran, which are legitimate things to talk about. America just loves invading countries. But America cares about the freedom of the Venezuelan people in Iran. It's not that those two countries both have massive oil reserves, and Saudi Arabia just joined BRICS on January 1st that the Western media is not talking about at all. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. But freedom for Iran and freedom for the Venezuelan. Maduro was a thing and a thing and a guy and a thing with a thing. Yeah. And what have I told you all the time on this show? When there's a big thing over here, something is happening over there. And this is the something happening. My name is Graham Elwood. You're watching the Bitcoin Vigilante. So I spend a fair amount of time on Twitter, and there's a lot of Bitcoiners on Twitter. Some of them were taken away. Now they're back. I don't know. Elon Musk is definitely part of the ruling elites. He is not to be trusted. Why people trust this guy and watching, he's literally part of the psyop. He's trying to keep everybody divided. The stuff he's saying on X is it's so obvious to me, but but he's got cool cars. Like a year ago, him and Trump were best buddies. And then 10 months ago, they were fighting on Twitter. And now they're buddies again. Like, I don't trust these guys at all. But there is a lot of good information in terms of what's happening in finance and banking and regulatory stuff. And this is an account I'd encourage you to follow. So he is breaking down, and he's pretty nonpartisan. So Shanaka Anselm Pereira, forgive me if I mispronounced that. So 53 banking associations just wrote themselves a $6.6 trillion protection bill. They called it the Clarity Act. Here's what they do not want you to understand. And again, they just put stuff on the news, Clarity Act, and we need to regulate crypto. And, you know, yes, there needs to be some regulation in crypto so we don't have another FTX. I'm a firm believer in that, but you don't need this. This is sneaky and tricky. All you need to do, in my opinion, is do what El Salvador did, which is they just put it in writing. Bitcoin is a commodity. They classified Bitcoin in El Salvador as a commodity, like gold or silver or real estate. And they put the altcoins, they made them securities, like a stock. Okay. But they're using and I said this when it happened 3.5 years ago when the FTX thing happened. I said, oh man, they're going to use the FTX thing as an excuse to try to do all this stuff to control you. They want to force you into a central banking digital currency so they can track your money, because if everybody's on digital currency that's tied to the central banks, they can just freeze your accounts. This is why I've always said, buy Bitcoin, put it on cold storage. They can't freeze that. That's why they don't like it. So they make Bitcoin and cold storage seem scary and crazy, and it's only used for criminals, and we're the government, we're here to make you safe. But what they're actually doing is protecting your investment, because, and this article we'll get into, it's explained very well. Banks want you to put your money in a bank account. Maybe you earn 3% or 4%. They loan it out at 6 or 7% or whatever the interest rates are. Sometimes they'll even give you less than that. A savings account will pay you like 0.8% or under 1%. And then they lend it out at 5 or 6% or whatever. The Fed just cut the rates, I know. So what they don't want is stable coins, and a lot of exchanges will give you staking. They'll give you interest on your stable coin. And the USDC is a stable coin, or Tether is a stable coin. What that means by stable coin, the price of them never fluctuates. USDC is always going to be backed. It's the same as whatever the dollar. So one stable coin equals $1 US, right? Tether is also a stable coin. And you can earn interest on many of the exchanges, right? And then what started happening over the summer, last summer, was Bitcoin-backed loans. So now you could borrow against your Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, but if, let's say you have, even just one Bitcoin, you want to borrow against it when the price is at 100,000, and they're giving you up to like 80, 85% loan to value. So you can borrow against your Bitcoin, not sell your Bitcoin. And whether this is a good financial strategy, I'm not saying it's good or bad. Talk to your financial advisor. I'm not a paid financial advisor. But what that did is all of a sudden you become your own bank. And you don't need to get a loan from your bank. You just put up your Bitcoin as collateral. There's several exchanges and companies doing this. I've seen interest rates anywhere from 5 to 12%. 5, 6, over the summer it was like 7%. And do your own research on that, get clarity. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't do it. But the point is, when that happened over the summer, I was at the Bitcoin conference in Hong Kong, and I went, oh, wow, this is going to change things. Let's say somebody has 5, 10, 20 Bitcoin, even just 5, and they want to put up 2 for collateral and use it like this is. And if you're paying 7% over the summer, now it's probably 5%, and you've got a 25 to 30% credit card, wipe that credit card out. Or maybe you want to invest in your business, or maybe you just, you bought a bunch of Bitcoin when it was at 1,000 a coin, 5,000 a coin, whatever, and now it's at 100,000 a coin. This is how wealthy people do it. They borrow against their assets, and it's not tracked as income. So let's say somebody has 100 Bitcoin, which at today's price of 95, 96 million, let's just call it 100,000. So it would be, that's about $10 million right now, $9.5 million. You could just borrow against, 5% of that would be $500,000, and live off 50 grand a year for the next 10 years. And you're outside of the traditional banking system, and you're not paying any taxes because that's not considered income. So I just want to paint this picture of why this is such a threat. And what this gentleman is showing is there's $6.6 trillion that regular banks are going to lose. And so they're fighting tooth and nail. This is why this is really important. They're going to lose potentially $6.6 trillion. And he's also going to explain how China did the right thing. China's going to let their citizens earn interest on the stable coins, which is an incentive to get people into the stable coins. This is going to make people go, well, why would I do this? I think ultimately, in my opinion, this will backfire in the United States, like so many other things. Everything's backfiring. None of these things are working. But, okay. So here's what they do not want you to understand. Bank pay depositors 0.1% interest. Stablecoin issuers hold treasury bills earning 4.5% interest. If stablecoins could pass that yield to users, banks lose the deposit war. They cannot compete. The math is fatal. You see what I'm saying? They can't compete with that. They're paying you 0.1% interest. A stablecoin is paying you 4.5% interest. Now, I'm sure you can go on, find this bank that pays a little more and that stablecoin pays a little bit. But in essence, you're talking about 4 or 5 percentage points is massive when you're dealing with these size numbers. It might not be a lot, but I mean, even just you, would you want $1,000 earning 0.1% or $1,000 earning 4.5%? At the end of the year, you're going to have $45 in interest versus, $1 in interest. See? The Kansas City Fed calculated what happens if stablecoins pay competitive rates. Banks lose 25.9% of deposits. 1.5 trillion in lending capacity vanishes. The entire community banking model collapses. Do you see what that means? How significant that is? So what if millions of Americans are not depositing into the banks, they can't borrow against, they can't send. That's how banks make their money, right? You deposit $1,000 into a bank account, they'll lend out $50,000 to $100,000 in loans, which is why there could be a run on the banks and they don't have the cash to pay you. This is what they're afraid of. I've been covering this, how there's a lot. I did a video last week. There's a lot of stuff that the dollar is collapsing, the bond market is collapsing, Japan is slowly selling off bonds. And so they're just like, no way can we have everybody go to stablecoins. The Clarity Act everyone is celebrating contains Section 404 prohibiting yield payments through any mechanism. This is significant. Not just from issuers, from exchanges, from affiliates, from partners. Every single pathway to competitive returns closed by statute. Brian Armstrong reviewed the 278-page draft for 48 hours. He withdrew Coinbase support at 11 p.m. The markup was postponed by morning. He saw Wall Street analysts missed entirely. So again, you can have your own opinions about what you think about Coinbase, but Coinbase, they're, the largest exchange in America, one of the largest exchanges in the world. And Coinbase is one of the exchanges that offers interest rates for stablecoins. You keep your USDC on your Coinbase account, you can earn whatever the interest rate is today, 3-4.5%, something like that. Coinbase also has Bitcoin-backed loans where they're doing it at a very competitive interest rate. The interest rate, it's tied to the federal interest rate. So you can get something in the neighborhood of 5.5% under 6% to borrow against your Bitcoin. The central banks see this and they're like crushing it. He withdrew. He went on CNBC and said, nope, we don't support this bill at all. That's significant. Again, whatever your opinions of Coinbase are and how they've acted in the past, they are a significant player here. And they carry a lot of sway. This is the Dodd-Frank for digital assets. Incumbents writing rules that crush competitors. The American Banking Association, 52 state banking associations, the Community Bankers Council, all coordinating to eliminate an industry that cannot beat in open markets. Meanwhile, China made the ECNY, which is that's their currency, the yen, the Chinese yen, or it's called the RMB, the electric, which is basically their digital currency. They made it interest bearing as of December 29th. So they've had interest bearing accounts for 2 weeks now. America is banning stablecoin yield while Beijing is paying it. The crypto industry spent years begging for regulatory clarity. They got it. Clarity that 6.6 trillion in deposits will be protected at any cost. Clarity that banks write the rules. Clarity that if you cannot win in markets, you win in Congress. This is the largest regulatory capture event in American financial history, and it's being sold as an innovation policy. And this is Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. After reviewing the Senate banking draft over the last 48 hours, Coinbase unfortunately cannot support the bill as written. There are too many issues, including a de facto ban on tokenized equities, all this stuff. And he writes a bunch of, we appreciate the hard work, blah, 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 blah. But like, dude, so when you see the Clarity Act or Bitcoiners on Twitter going, yeah, this is Trump's great, Trump, never just blindly follow a politician, never blindly follow a party, never do it. So we'll keep following this, but this is America claims that. I love when the conservatives and the Wall Street guys are always like, we need free market economy. We don't need socialism. You just came and did the most, like, the Communist Party of China has better free market interest and competitive rates than the United States of America. Just let that one sink in for a second. All these conservatives and these Republicans and these Wall Street guys, communism's bad, socialism's bad, but this is like communist policy. If you're a true free market capitalist, then you should be like, we should come up with more competitive rates. Isn't that free market capitalism? Build a better mousetrap. The guy across the street, his shop is doing better business than yours. Don't pass a law. Don't pay off a bunch of politicians to get his shop shut down. Sell a better mousetrap. Nope, not the banking industry, because they know they're going to get their asses kicked. This is what many of us in the Bitcoin community have been saying for a long time. This is why I'm a Bitcoiner. I don't trust the central banks. They lobby Congress to get every law passed in their favor. And if you were to ask me, Graham, should I earn interest on my Bitcoin? I would say don't. Just keep it in a cold wallet. If you need to borrow against it, I wouldn't. Each individual is different. Maybe you need to sell off some of your Bitcoin, but then you got to pay capital gains tax, and you need to talk with a financial advisor and an accountant on what's the best plan for you. But if you said, I just want to have some money in stable coins. I know people who work for tech and crypto companies, and they get paid in USDC. And then they convert it to Bitcoin or whatever. I know some of them living in El Salvador, and then they convert it to Bitcoin and pay their bills in El Salvador using Bitcoin. But I know some people that when they get paid in USDC, they convert some of it to US dollars and pay their bills. But if there's excess, why wouldn't you just want to leave it? I mean, why convert it to the US dollar and put it in a savings account earning you 0.1%, or just keep it as USDC on an exchange and earn 4%? Starts to add up. The banks are protecting their $6 trillion assets. And what do they do? What do the banks do? They will make sure that all the Democrats and Republicans in Congress will support them. And then Republicans and Lindsey Graham and Liz Warren and these folks will call in the news like, this protects the American people. Blah, blah. No, it protects the banks. Everyone in Congress and the Senate has really nice, comfortable knee pads paid for by the banking industry. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. We'll stay on top of this, guys. Buy Bitcoin, get it off the exchanges, put it in a cold wallet, and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. What's up? Yeah, we got to check that reef out. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I want to experience more of Western Australia. I loved it too. Is the Indian Ocean. It was great. This next story is pretty quick. Pretty quick. So you can support the show, guys, by doing the Bitcoin, which is an on-chain donation. You can also support us with Patreon, Venmo. I've been putting my new series, Laughs Around the World. There's 2 episodes up on Patreon. It's the only place you can watch it. So, you know, and I've streamlined the Patreon. I used to have all these different tiers and do all this different stuff, which I appreciate everybody that supported me in the past that way, but I've just streamlined it. You can support me for as little as $3 a month. And I'm just putting as much bonus content up there as I can. Behind the scenes with comedians, this Laughs Around the World show, you guys are getting it first. It won't be out for public consumption for quite a while. So you guys are getting it. And so go to Patreon support. It's a great way to do it. Graham, you broke into my house, pooped on the floor, spray painted a swastika, then ate all my food. Oh, that's funny. I don't know who you are, Palm Strike enthusiast. I got an idea, but I appreciate you being in the chat. All right, let's get our next segment ready. Shazam. All right, I'll be back in less than 10 seconds with our next hot, fresh segment. Don't forget, you guys, you can also do a super chat, which supports the show, and I'll answer your question and put it on the screen. Thank you. Is Russia about to pass a pro-Bitcoin bill? Will one of the largest economies in the world start stacking up Bitcoin? And if this happens, then it's going to be like the Cold War space race between Russia and America, but with Bitcoin. My name is Graham Elwood. You're watching the Bitcoin Vigilante. Thanks for supporting our show, guys. That's how you can support us. That's an on-chain Bitcoin donation. There's other ways to spend your fiat down here. So I just saw this on Bitcoin Twitter today, and this is significant. One of the things I've talked about on this show, that the minute the major countries, like if America starts buying Bitcoin wholesale, then Russia and China and every other country has to start competing. And since America is, you know, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. So now America, that's why we invaded Venezuela to get their oil. That's why we're stirring up all this trouble in Iran, because we need to get their oil. Because Saudi Arabia is going to be selling its oil to China and Russia. So we don't want to lose the Bitcoin battle too. So this just came in. I mean, this is really amazing. Russia's Congress confirms a bill to legalize Bitcoin buying for all investors. It's officially drafted. Do people realize what this means for global Bitcoin demand? This is... what this will mean for demand is, this is one of the more significant things you're going to see. So in the last year, the most significant thing for Bitcoin has been the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, when America took its 650,000 coins and they, in essence, created a digital Fort Knox, meaning we can't sell this Bitcoin, we can't get rid of it. And that was one of the things that pumped the price up to 100. And we had an all-time high in the fall of 126 or something like that. But what I've been saying all along, if any one of these big countries starts buying, if Russia starts buying big chunks of Bitcoin, if China starts buying big chunks of Bitcoin, then America and the rest of the world has to compete. If America doesn't want to lose its power, which is the petrodollar, I've been talking about it losing the petrodollar for a while, rather than do all these ridiculous wars to get all this oil, just start buying Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is a technology. Start investing in green energy, which is a technology. The Green New Deal, as it was drafted by the Green Party and then adopted by Bernie in his 2020 campaign, would put so many Americans to work. China just did this. China, like 10 years ago, said, we're building a bunch of wind turbines. We're building a bunch of solar panels. We're just going to do this. We're just going to do it. And the whole world is addicted to oil, and you can't just shut down the whole oil industry overnight. But you can, that was what the Green New Deal was. It was transitioning people, like some guy, let's say, makes 80 grand a year working on an oil rig or whatever. He gets transitioned. Like, how are you going to pay for this? Well, instead of printing all this money for these endless wars, and we just printed a bunch of billions, tens of billions of dollars for another Wall Street bailout. Wall Street enjoys socialism. Anytime they fail, the government pays for it. You and I get rugged capitalism. So again, it's a reason why I'm a huge Bitcoin proponent. Buy Bitcoin, put it on a cold storage, and just hang on to it. If you buy Bitcoin and hold on to it, you'll make money. In the short run, Bitcoin's very volatile. Today, it's about 95, 96K. 3 weeks, a month ago, it was at 85K. I was like, oh, Bitcoin's going to crash. It's going to crash. But if you've held Bitcoin, for anyone that's held Bitcoin for 4 to 5 years has made money. Don't take my advice. Go find any stock or asset or any investment class that has outperformed Bitcoin in the last 15 years. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. And big stocks, Google, Nvidia, they've had big pullbacks. They've had 30, 40, 50% pullbacks. I would encourage you to get some now. 95K is going to seem like a bargain basement sale. If this bill passes in Russia and Russia just starts buying, and all of the Russian people start buying it, if Putin just says, let's go, we're going all in on Bitcoin, then China will have to compete. America will have to compete. And that means all of the allies, big economies, India's economy, Brazil's economy, Western Europe's economy, all of them. I mean, Germany was really dumb when they sold their Bitcoin. God, were they dumb. So, you know, like, share, subscribe, follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. And this is the way to save yourself, to protect yourself for the dollar crashing. And your money just not being worth, your US dollars not being worth anything. So, but I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. What's up? What's up? What's up? Well, what's up? What's up? What's up? All right, guys, my neighbor, she's here. She's getting herself ready. So if you have any questions for Darrianne, you know, put him in a super chat. Oh, right on. Speaking of super chats, BC Jones 20, shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks for the stream and spreading that Bitcoin gospel, Graham. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Yeah, I cannot say that this is the thing I've been talking about for 6 years now on this channel. I really started paying attention to, I was into Bitcoin around 2019, but it was during COVID when I was like, oh man. And this Clarity Act and Saudi Arabia going, because again, I did a video on it, and the other financial experts, America, the financial community knows that the dollar is going away, and they're just slowly trying to like have slowly deflate a bubble is better than letting it just burst, right? So, but one of the things this guy said, I did this video last week, you can watch it, is that they talked about these big finance people had this big secret meeting. They said, move into precious metals and Bitcoin. Like everyone's like gold, silver, Bitcoin. That's what they know it's coming. It's not even that it's coming. It's already happening now. So I'll keep pushing the gospel, brother, and you keep supporting me. When folks like you support me, I'm able to keep doing this. So I appreciate it. And go to grahamelwood.com. That's where the link to my GoFundMe page is and everything like that. So check it out. And thanks for supporting the show, dude. I really appreciate it. And we'll be right back with Darrianne if you have any questions for her. So, boom. Thank you, VC Jones. We'll be right back with Darrianne. Hey guys, Darrianne here. Oh my God, it's so amazing to see everybody. You guys are so great. Thanks for Graham for letting me come on the show. He's talking about Bitcoin. Like, oh my God, Bitcoin's so excited. Like Chad like totally paid for his yurt with Bitcoin. Like it was amazing. It's like a Bitcoin yurt. Like he bought this thing. He's like, babe, I started doing mining. It was like so amazing. Like a long time ago. It's like wild. Like, oh my God, so great. But you guys are so great. So amazing, you know, thoughts and Bitcoins or whatever. But if you want a whole coin, or you want just a bit of one, like we're not full coin shaming or whatever you guys want to do. And I just wanted to give some tips as we're going into the new year. Like a lot of people are like, you know, a lot of asking like, what's like a healthy thing? And I'm like, you know, bananas are super healthy, but oh my God, you guys, like sometimes it's such a fight. Like, how do I open it? Right? Like, this is the banana and how do we open it? And I'm like, what do you do? Like, sometimes I do this. And then if this side is like angry, it's like, oh my God. And then you smash the head of it. And it's like, I don't want to hurt smashing the head or whatever. And like, we're not knife shaming. Some people like using a knife, but some people like maybe knives are like too aggressive, or it's like toxic energy to use like an angry knife. And so like, this is the top of the banana. I don't know. It's like on the banana like holder tree thing or whatever like that. And so, but there's a lot of ways to open it. So you can do this way, but then it can like, oh no, we're hurting this like banana's like, oh my God, that's so mean. Don't do that. Don't be mean to the banana. So take like the bottom side of it or whatever. This is called like the basement, the banana basement, you guys. And we're not addict shaming. Like addicts are amazing. If you like stirring stuff upstairs, like it's amazing. And I know some of you like in the West Coast, you don't have a lot of basements because they're like, you're afraid of earthquakes or something and they would attack the basement or whatever. But like a lot of people in the countries, you know, have basements and they're amazing if you're fighting tornadoes and, you know, like you got to get in a basement. So anyway, let's just call this the basement of Chad's yurt. Doesn't have a basement and it's like, it's just a yurt, right? But I'm like, babe, if there's like crazy tornadoes or something, where are you going to go? Are you going to like dig a hole or a basement or something? And he's like, you know, we'll just let the universe decide, babe. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So Anyway, we're not basement shaming, like whoever, like we're totally basement positive or totally attic positive, but like go to the basement of your banana, you guys. And then it seems like it's going to be really sturdy, but it's really like you can just kind of put your fingernail in there and just like open. Ow, that didn't work at all. Ow, that hurt. And there's like this thing. So that wasn't enough. But what it does is then there's a little like, then there's this like key and you can kind of open more of it. And what you're not smashing its head or whatever. Like I don't want to be mean to a banana. Bananas are so nice. And then you can kind of slowly, and then it's like total hack. And then there. Now you've got like a total like pull tabby thing from one of those like, you know, like a cereal thing or whatever. And there's that thing that makes that crazy sound. Isn't that fun? So it's like that. It doesn't have that perforation. It's not going to make that crazy sound, but you can totally make like, we're totally sound positive here. If you want to make that sort of sound when you're opening banana, like you can. Oh, wow, that just broke off. That's crazy, but you're still close now. And then now here we go, guys. See, total banana peel positive. And now see, look, nobody got smashed or hurt or whatever. And then there's this little stem thing, which you can leave in there if you're making a smoothie or just pull it off like that. So it's like total more like loving and kind and fun with the banana, like not all like smash its face or whatever. And then you can like make a smoothie or put this on your cereal or just eat it regular style or however you want to do that, you know, like you can slice it. And if you like, you know, again, we're not knife shaming. So thank you guys so much for being here and being so like banana positive and celebrating my banana journey and like totally like, it's cool. Like Chad eats a lot of bananas because in the yurt, he's outside and it's like, babe, their bananas are good. They've got like potassium and electronic lights or something, electrolyte. Like, I don't know if they're like, I don't think they're plugged in there, but there's like something. Anyway, they're really good. Like they're amazing. So you guys are great. Oh my God. Thoughts and bananas. You guys are amazing. Enjoy your whatever banana journey, or if you're in an attic or a basement or you don't do it, we're totally whatever floor, room, positive, whatever room you're in. Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Well, that was nice. I appreciate Darrianne giving us some helpful tips on how to open a banana. I guess you could use the bottom like that. It's always good. Let's call that a banana hack, whatever they say. Does anyone else think Darrianne and Graham could be twins? I don't know. Some people have said that, but she's shorter than I am. Yeah, her voice, like I couldn't even do that kind of a voice. I don't know what it is. I mean, yeah, people think we're related. It's weird. We're not, she's total different family or whatever. So good question though. It's a very good question. I really appreciate you asking. Well, that's our show, everybody. Come on now. We did it. You guys are awesome. So if you just tuned in, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to clip out the 3 segments and drop them separately. If you want to watch the whole show in its entirety or listen to just the audio, you can go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, which is scrolling below there. And that opens up all of these bonus content. And I'm also going to put, if you're a Rockfin premium member, rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, I put the clips up there. And I'm also going to put Laughs Around the World on Rockfin Premium. So those are the ways to support the show. Go to grahamelwood.com and donate to the GoFundMe. Because you're helping all the little extra costs associated with doing the first pilot episode. We're getting investors in place to do a whole season. So it's really cool and you can be a part of it. And if you happen to be in Bangkok, like Graham from Perth, we're going to shoot in like March and April and maybe even a little bit into May. So you come up for one of the tapings. We'll put you in the studio audience. You get to watch a TV show get made. So thank you so much. Thank you, BC Jones 20 for the super chat. Thank you, everybody, Palm Strike enthusiasts and everybody else in the chat. I appreciate it. Everybody over at Rockfin. Thanks for watching the show. Like, share, subscribe. Buy Bitcoin. This ain't financial advice. Buy Bitcoin, put it on a cold wallet, get it off the exchange, get it into cold storage, because the dollar crumble is starting. It's happening. Be ready. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Kaboom.